Okay, Aries, we're going to do your March equinox reading, and I'm just going to do a simple beginning, middle, and end for you for this. Okay, for the beginning of the season, the card that represents you is going to be the Ten of Cups. So this looks like there has been an emotional victory that you've been coming into at the beginning of this season. Something that may have seemed like it couldn't be possible, that it was difficult in an emotional sense. And now you find yourself at the beginning of this season really feeling rooted in this celebration of how far you've come. With the Seven of Swords crossing the energy, I would say that something about how you got to this place is going to be a little bit of an alternative method, and there may be parts of that from one perspective or another, whether other people's or maybe just a part of yourself, kind of feels like you squeaked it out a little bit, like it you got there by the skin of your teeth. And there's something about that that's not necessarily bad, but you might not be giving yourself the path that you had wished for to make that happen. May have been something you had to steer away from and go a different angle. And the setup to that situation, you have the Devil. So I would say this is something that you've been dealing with for a while. And with things like that, it's really about taking the steps forward that you have made and recognizing them. So I don't think that that's a bad thing at all. I think that's actually really healthy and productive to recognize when you have made a step forward and celebrate it. As you move forward, it moves into the Knight of Pentacles energy, which is great. So I think you're starting to build a foundation in a situation that you found difficult in the past in a way that you couldn't see a path forward. And now as you move into this new strategy of dealing with it, you can see a path open up that's farther than you've ever seen before as far as how you're going to work on this aspect of yourself. So that's going to move us into the middle of the season, where you are going to be represented by the Ten of Swords. So something about this has put you in a place excuse me, where you are done worrying about something mentally that has really been eating at you for a very long time. I would say something that has to do with how you felt like this wasn't possible. This thing that you've been working on is finally put to rest, that you don't need to worry about it in that way anymore. The crossing energy for that is the King of Pentacles. So to me, that's going to look like you don't think the Knight of Pentacles is moving fast enough. You think, okay, I see it in the distance, let's go. Excuse me. And really, to me, that seems like a little bit of a wanting to rush into, okay, I know what I need to do. Why isn't it done yet? So that is moving from the Sun energy, which really looks like a type of a type of celebration of what this not only means to you in that 10 of Cups sense, but in a sun sense where it's really vital to you that this is something, I would say, very personal, that is a victory for you. What that's moving you into, though, is the 5 of Wands. So I would say that while you recognize what a milestone this is for you, it's also going to come with needing to research and develop how is it going to work for you. You know, you're going to have to try things to use this new part of yourself. Trial and error. Excuse me. So that's going to move you into this end of the season. You're going to be represented by the Page of Swords. So working through this situation that you've been having some revelations about and moving into, the Page of Swords is really about knowing that there's new information that you're working with. Crossed by the 6 of Cups, it's going to have you looking back at what did past you think wasn't possible? What did past you think was possible? And really just considering like younger selves that you had and how they feel about what has transpired, what new things you've learned, and who you are now. That has you moving out of a 9 of Swords energy. Excuse me. And that's something that has really caused you a lot of worry over many nights. So this may be something that's a long-term thing that you've been working on a lot, and at times felt like really was impossible. That moves you into this 8 of Cups energy, which is knowing that you need to move on. So you spend a little bit of time sort of looking at younger selves, but then knowing and moving on with how you're going to move forward with all of this information and what things you need to leave behind in order to pursue the new self that you have. I'm just going to pull 3 more cards as anchors for you throughout this season that you can take as your main teachers for moving through this situation. Okay. So we've got the 4 of Pentacles, we've got the King of Cups, and we've got the 5 of Pentacles. So whatever this situation is that you know you need to leave behind in order to move forward, I would say that a big part of that is understanding that you really do have an emotional mastery. Look back to that 10 of Cups, that victory that you know you attained. Really seat yourself in that and know that that is true for you. It can't be taken away, even as you have to figure out practical concerns. With the 4 and the 5, it seems to me that there's going to be a change practically that's going to make you feel a little uneasy and make you feel a little like you don't have as much control as you want, and that there are things that aren't perfect about how the practical side is playing out. But if you center your emotional knowing, you're going to be able to move through these 4 and 5 of Pentacles and get yourself back to that Knight energy where you're pursuing, you're making strategies, and you're moving forward with the practical side of this new revelation about this victory that you've won for yourself.